Hey Dylan, thanks for taking my call.
Hey Dylan, big fan of the show.
Huge fan of the show, love what you're doing.
Such a big fan of the show. I'm so glad to have a minute of your time.
Hi, Dylan. It's Gavin.
Dude, Dylan.
Look, I cannot help you. I'm sorry. It's not hard to understand, okay? So here's my thought. You would be crazy to think that. Welcome in to the Dylan Berry Network. So glad you're here. If you're listening right now, I truly am grateful. And I'm grateful also that my roommate Trey is getting situated right now.
Dude,
He's getting
I'm
his
like,
mic ready.
Good?
Getting his hair ready. Rolled out of bed.
Just rolled out of bed. Not
Trey,
even.
welcome.
Thank you for having me. Hello, Berry Nation.
Berry Nation.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah. No, it's you were on, was it 2020 or was it 2021? I think it was.
The first time?
Yeah, when we talked The Last of Us. Wait, that was 2020.
That was 2020.
I think, yeah, it was the beginning of the pandemic, and I was thinking, like, yo, I got to get this going. And one of the things that excited me was The Last of Us 2. And I think I must have saw that you posted about it or something, and I was like, yeah, dude,
yeah, because I made, like, the video and everything. So you're
yes, you did, like, a full reaction video. I had never seen someone who I grew up with doing something like that. I was like, whoa, he's, like, making content for the internet.
Dude, it was crazy because when you texted me, I was like, I haven't talked to Dylan Berry since like.
Right.
Well, I mean, by that time we've talked a couple times, because I would talk to you about like LA and like wanting to move to LA, like here and there.
You'd ask me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had stayed in touch pretty well, and then you came on, that was fun, and then I think we continued to stay in touch because then you did Uncharted after that.
Yeah.
You did a similar green screen, which. Yeah, it was awesome. And I remember in your first one, you had recognized that Naughty Dog loved water. That water was its like special feature,
for like Uncharted.
Yeah, of like, whoa, like our water's gonna look sick. And people are gonna be mind blown. And I was like, that's a good observation because that's so true. Like even just like being wet, of like, oh, he's still wet from like being in the water. It's crazy.
I do notice it every time I play something, and someone's still I notice it.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, no. Speaking of content for the internet, dude, Bo Burnham, which is another person we kind of connected over a year ago when Inside came out. I think we were equally as excited, and you and I were in the talks of like you were gonna move in and whatnot. But Bo Burnham released what are called outtakes, the Inside outtakes, but it's much more like a whole other special. Like, it goes off the rails like towards the end where there's kind of just like but for the most part it was like song, skit, him setting up, him doing all the us figuring out which take was going to be the perfect one as he'd get frustrated, and it was a full blown it called outtakes, but it felt like another special. After a year ago, he also surprised us. Like I remember he posted a photo of the cracked door. And it was like, wait, what? Bo Burnham hasn't posted in years.
Wait, I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah, he posted a photo of like a cracked door, and fans were just going nuts. Like, what the heck is this? And then like 3 weeks later, Inside dropped, and
that's
Inside
crazy.
Dropped. And dude, it was like the anthem of the pandemic because that was like when vaccines were getting out to everybody. At least in California, it was about May, and like it felt like we were getting outside. And dude, that Inside was such a banger.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I remember when you moved in, I was listening to White Woman's Instagram like every morning before work.
Yeah, that was definitely like kind of in the heat of when I was like listening to songs. I don't know. I was like when I first saw Inside, I just listened to all the songs through SoundCloud because they didn't have it on Spotify yet.
Oh yeah, it wasn't quite.
So I was pretty upset when I finished like burning through it so many times, and then they released the album on Spotify. So it's like it's not on my it's on my rap. So apparently I never listened to anything.
Oh, it absolutely was on my Wrapped, and All Eyes on Me was like the anthem of our 4th of July party trip that we go on every year. Like for some reason, Bo Burnham, like we were playing that at 2 a.m. We were playing it at 11 p.m. all hours of the day, and it was so awesome. And like it was one of those you could fall in love with a different song or sketch each week. And like he was definitely on my Wrapped. And then to drop more, with these outtakes, which I took notes. But what I do remember is I could not believe that these were like the ones that they were sitting in the editing bay a year ago going like, dude, we need to cut this down to 90 minutes, like we got to get rid of some songs. Which ones are you cool to leave? And these were the ones, because these were awesome.
Yeah, of course, like the chicken song.
Dude, the chicken song he ended with. Gosh, the one about the couple and like the 5-year anniversary and the spider and the ordering food, like
I like the doo-wop mix of Jeffrey Bezos.
Yes, dude.
I like that.
And he, not to like jump too far ahead, but I was thinking like, dude, every time Bo Burnham takes a stage, even from words to Make Happy to What, he always has a grand finale. He did like the Kanye, he did the voices, we did All Eyes on Me. Like, what is he gonna do now? And it was All Eyes on Me, but in this crazy, weird, trippy remix. But like still banging so hard that's like, dude, this is incredible.
I remember I was watching it and I kept like, you're watching it, you're jumping between like his screen with like the green light on him, and it's like super.
And he looks distorted in his teeth. And
and then you're going back and forth, but then they still lined up at certain parts. So after it, I was just like, damn, that was sick.
Dude, it was so good. And like, it was funny that this was the YouTube upload, because he has made this awesome jump from YouTube to Netflix specials to tours. Like, he's a YouTuber who became a true comedian.
Damn, I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, and then now he's giving back to YouTube. And in Inside last year, it was him sitting watching him doing videos, and it's so cool that he got a YouTube version, because I remember I was watching, and the first time you see the ad in 6 seconds, I for a second went, I have YouTube Premium or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this, and then I went, holy crap, is this about to happen? And then it was the jeans commercial.
It was cool because it was like, it was like he found out that he was going to be releasing this on YouTube, or decided he was going to release it on YouTube, but didn't just let that be what it is. Yeah. He's just like, I'm gonna make a whole bit out of the idea of it being on YouTube.
Yeah. It was just insane. And then because every time it would say ad, you'd go, oh my gosh, here we go. Or you'd have the little thumbnails that would pop up at random times, or that it was kind of like it's cheesy to say, but like a love letter to the internet, of like, he even went after podcasts, right? Of like Joe Rogan type interview.
He's like I was having a conversation with my sparring partner the other day.
Yeah. Dude, it's just always like these comedians that are on to something, dude. They know, dude. Like, anyone who's on the Joe Rogan Experience, like, thinks something is up. Like, yo, there's something going on in the UFC, dude. Yo, there's something going on with the aliens. There's something going on with Russia. We got to get to the bottom of it. And like, I don't know. It was a great beat. The internet, like, just the internet side of, did you see the point where, I forget what song it was, but a song was playing, and it was that dot meme where it was like the 9 boxes, and as you looked around, the dots appeared in the middle. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the weird optical illusion of the dots. Let me show you. But it was playing behind his videos. Optical illusion of dots.
I don't remember, because I remember the one with like where it have like all 30 of his takes on the screen, and every time one of them would mess up, it would just like fade off of the screen.
You see how like your eyes fill the dots as you move around? Yeah, he had videos that were playing, like, were set up like that
to make sure that your eyes were
and your eyes were, it was trippy.
Dude, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, there was 1.2 where he was like, he would break the third wall or the fourth wall, like at certain points in songs. It was kind of mind blowing, because I haven't been that locked into something. I usually am like on my phone watching Survivor or whatever, Malcolm Middle or some dumb sports. But like, dude, I was locked in, and it's just crazy to me that he took the stuff out. The thing about voting for Joe Biden was absolutely hilarious. Because like when I saw Inside a year ago, like I I was like, wow, dude, this is such a treat. Like, hey, this could never get better. And then, like, to go to a Phoebe Bridgers concert and to hear her perform That Funny Feeling live, just freaking nutty, dude.
I remember when I watched Inside 2 times and had 2 completely separate experiences. The first time I watched it, I took an edible.
Yeah.
And and I watched it, and the whole first half was like so dark to me. Like, it was so hard for me to watch. Like, it was getting super like introspective and stuff.
Which he does that again here in like different ways, but where you're also like this guy could be the Riddler. Like, if he, like he could. This is insane what he's able to all do on his own, and like let us see his madness.
Exactly. Like, when I talked to my friends about it, I was like telling them, I was like, hey, like, that shit was so dark. Like, I couldn't watch that, and they're like, no, I feel the opposite.
Yeah.
I feel like the second half was pretty dark, and I realized that's like when the intermission was happening and stuff. So already an hour in, I'm like fading out.
Yeah.
So I went back and I watched it again, and I was like, oh no, they're right. Second half was darker, but all of it's like super introspective and like, yeah. After a while, like, I feel like that was like one of the big things where I was like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna watch anything that's very like introspective for a while.
Yeah.
Like one of those things.
Yeah,
have you ever had that?
It's exhausting. Yeah, dude, it's wild because like I don't know if he did this on purpose, and I don't know if it was also because like substance was involved while I was watching, but like he kept taking like different forms to me, like meaning like he'd be in a silhouette and it looked like George Carlin, like, and then there was a one shot of him like with the bent over back, and I like thought of Joaquin Phoenix, and even like all the mirror stuff, I like thought of it. When he was like in his underwear, I thought of Bryan Cranston. I think he looks like Wyatt Russell. And then there was like this one Shia LaBeouf moment when he was like watching himself that was like almost the exact shot of like Shia LaBeouf, and he looked like I don't know. It was
like it's like like he was making references.
Oh yeah, almost. But maybe I was like seeing way too much into it. But like. It was funny because you're getting close to the end and you're realizing he had my attention so much, and then they did the peanut butter sandwich thing, and like I'm like, this is so dumb, but I'm so locked in and I can't look away. It was just like drone shots around this sandwich for like 30 seconds, way too long, but it was just like, dude, I'm locked in. I want this.
That shit was so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It was dark at times and scary. And like, yeah, too honest, and then it was just hilarious, like, absolutely. I don't know. It's funny.
No, but that's definitely what I've always loved about Bo Burnham too. Is like his balance. You see it more and more every special, to the point that like Inside just like was Inside.
Yeah.
But then before that, he would always have these like real like let's talk about how things have been moments. Yeah.
It's funny too to like see, one that he had a much more productive quarantine than anybody. Like like we saw even more of the like behind the scenes of him like testing lights and like saying the numbers, and then like doing the audio tests of like what it sounds like, or seeing him rehearse and try over and over and over again, because it's like hard to like create on your own where it's like you don't have a crew and you have to practice and learn all these different softwares and how your mic sounds and how like all like that. This was a kind of another perspective into that was so fascinating. And and just honest.
And just doing it yourself is like like the amount of like discipline and self-discipline you'd have to have.
He's just sitting, even when he said like he made a comment about like I just want to be playing PlayStation right now.
Yeah.
And like I'm like, dude, I'm so glad that Bo Burnham feels that way, because I like it's funny that like naturally we just want to go into like chill mode rather than like work on our own because we're not paying ourselves.
And that was something that was also cool too, because like he mentioned it where like he kind of like for Inside he really just went back to doing what he started out doing.
Yeah. Like
just making this content and stuff. And that's why I appreciated those moments where he showed the real like showing like the real behind the scenes stuff of like, okay, like you see how it looked and Inside and how great it looked. This is what it really looks like. And that's like video editing in general. It's like something that I looked at and I was like, that's really cool because I feel like it's not thought about a lot, like how many takes things go and like how cringy that stuff is. I'm sure he cringed when looking at like some of that stuff.
Well, even him like make like sarcastically kind of singing to himself because he like doesn't have the motivation clearly to like give all the emotion he wants like in a moment.
Exactly.
And it's like because you have to work yourself up to do it all, but then it also shows you that like YouTube as a platform is still like highly it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
With all these other like TikToks coming in and Instagram trying to be like all these other different things, like YouTube is still like a platform where in a weekend where we watched Barry, I watched some Stranger Things, I watched Top Gun Maverick. Like I watched a lot this weekend because it was Memorial, a lot of time off. Like the fact that Bo Burnham, a YouTube video, it was like that was the coolest thing I saw and the most mind-blowing thing I've seen in a while since Everything Everywhere All at Once. That movie's phenomenal.
That movie's great.
But yeah, in a weekend, where so much like crazy stuff came out. This was pretty dope to have.
It was great. I loved it. Bo Burnham.
And of course, makes you want to watch Inside again. But also Barry came out this week. We're getting we gotta only have a few episodes left.
Yeah. Well, last night was episode 5.
Survivor ended last week too.
Dang.
And that was another one where it's like, dang, and it was a great finale. Like for Survivor fans, we got a good season. I called it. I said this is gonna be one of the greatest. I was right. It's no big deal. But Barry.
Yeah. The craziest thing about this season of Barry to me, out of everything,
it's been very it's heavy.
It's heavy.
But like
it's a lot.
It's just heavy because everyone's in a bad mood.
Yeah, but the heaviest part to me is the way that I found out they were doing a new season through a billboard. And like the lack of marketing on it blows my. How did you find out that they were doing a new season of Barry?
I do remember it sneaking up on me a little bit, like with Succession, dude. That we knew that was coming. Like with this, the Lakers series, that was everywhere.
It was everywhere. You didn't see anything.
And I've heard this before, and I remember someone said this about Space Jam. Someone who I knew who was like, whatever it is, they're like, yeah, dude, there's not gonna be much marketing on this movie because they don't think it's gonna do that well, so they're not gonna like tell people to go see it. And so they might have thought that about Barry this season because it's definitely like not as light. And I'm not laughing as much. I am laughing there, but it's all referential laughing.
Yeah.
Of like, oh wow, he just said like the Citizen app, and that's funny, haha. When it's like,
I don't know. Definitely the jokes feel a little more jarring in this one. Like something really crazy and dark and serious will happen, and then they'll be like I don't know, it's like such a science to be able to flip something like that and like take this really dark thing and like all of a sudden make it funny really quick. Yeah. And sometimes, it works. I've laughed, but sometimes it's kind of like I don't know if I'm ready to laugh yet.
But it's also cool to see like Bill Hader is clearly getting better and better at his craft. Like even just this last episode, and I think a lot of what he does too are homages to shows and movies that he's loved. But I don't know if this is true or not, but this is just the vibe I got because I just finished the episode. Was when they had that awesome crane shot of him going on to what looked like the 101 freeway or maybe the 134, and it was this crane shot of him behind this dirt bike, and we're just right behind the dirt bike, and we're with the dirt bike as it moves. Dude, I got like Grand Theft Auto vibes. And I'm like, dude, how is the guy who did Stefan on Saturday Night Live like making like the most Grand Theft Auto looking show, which is a comedy on HBO about an assassin who wants to become an actor? It's insane.
It's such a ridiculous concept when you say it out loud
so
to people.
dumb.
Like when you're talking to somebody
and the fact that it's even serious, it's not like goofy.
It's not
a goofy
like
show.
Exactly. Like have you met people before that have never heard of Barry?
Yeah.
And when you explain it to it's Bill Hader, from SNL. Yeah, he's an assassin who goes to like kill somebody that's in an acting class. So he goes to do recon, sits in on a class, and decides, hey, I'm an assassin, but I want to be an actor now. It sounds so fucking dumb.
But It's awesome. And
It's so fucking cool.
It's really been a good show, and this season's been so interesting because I'm like, on the one side of things, I feel like Sally's storyline is trying to say so much about the industry.
Is this a spoiler cast or
yeah.
a spoiler cast? Okay.
We assume you've seen all Barry episodes, I guess, as of right now. But it feels like Sally's plot line is trying to say something about the industry. Like everything, like Barry, we're not seeing him do any acting stuff anymore. He's just like fighting for his reputation.
Whatever.
And now, what's his name is like ratting him out to all the people he's killed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's slowly building an insane amount of enemies. But Sally's is like really loud about, she's doing press junkets where they're like, this is a story about pain and domestic violence. Who should be the next Spider-Man? Like, that's so funny. But then Barry on the other side, he's just so angry and like the beard.
Yeah, the thing that like I feel as though is the theme of the show, based off of like the tagline where it's like your past never dies or whatever. It's like it shows that, you know, physically it's happening to him, where people related to people that he's killed are now trying to go after him. So it shows like on the playing field that that's happening. But
dude, it's also pretty literal because no one is actually dying. It seems like everyone is surviving every fate too.
Yeah.
And even people that were like, oh, they died last season are suddenly like, wait, they actually might end up showing up.
Like,
you know,
I feel like the real kicker on it is the fact that like it's Barry, and we see like how he is now, and it's on like the beard and like he's like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of showing the way it's rubbing off on the people in his life, because all of them now have the same thing. Yeah, they're all in the same kind of situation now because what he did with like Gina Kusno, holding him hostage, making him do that. It seems like that's the road it's going down with now. Kusno trying to make amends with the people in his life.
Yeah.
And then Fuchs trying to make amends
Fuchs,
with people in his life to spite Barry. And then Sally is like,
is just truly trying to live the actor life.
Yeah, that's true. I guess she really is just kind of doing her own
like
thing.
her, like we are still in the industry because of her, and like it's like unique in the Elsie Fisher storyline of her like dumping him. But this last episode was so interesting because her show starts off and it premieres and it's awesome, and we get that long because we spend a lot of time with Sally, and Sally's in my opinion, Sally has never been a likable character. But we spend a lot of time with her, and so it's like when she's giving this speech and then realizing she's got a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes and then goes crazy, and then her career and life's gonna change, and then finally she does tell off Barry, and then she goes and finds out her show's canceled, and then she needs Barry again, and then it's like, wait a second, what is the message? Because like it's not being consistent. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's unique because we're just seeing not the violent stuff cross over anymore.
I don't know. It definitely it's like a super weighted season for sure. Yeah. It's a super weighted season,
and it just seems like he's getting John Wick number of enemies who are lining up to fight him.
Yeah, exactly. And and now they're also, that's what I was thinking of also when I was thinking about like people who Barry has been affecting. He like affects them too because he's now causing them to have their own issues. You know, like mom shoots the son, and you know it all stems off like he's that butterfly effect. Like he's that one wing that like caused like this entire tangent of like shit happening.
Yeah.
And it's like now all like coming home to roost sort of thing, you know.
Yeah. It'll be weird, kind of, and as they've expanded, keeping track of all these people and all these enemies, and now it's like Kusano is on his he's on his own storyline, and now we have this mother and son who are going after Barry, and then they just made a big mistake.
Who knows?
Too.
Yeah.
But it's like everyone can survive every one of these attacks. Dude, it was weird on a similar dark note. Actually, I don't even know. Yeah, no, we were watching Stranger Things, and right at the beginning there was a warning about like the like Texas shooting of like we're aware that of like the current events and the horrible tragedy in Texas, and we want to know this. Let you know like that this episode, of course, was filmed way before it, but it has to do with like kids in a school, running from evil, and it's like it's just kind of crazy because even when then that scene when the biker ends up on the roof and they're like shooting and everyone was running, I'm just like, oh man, this is like oddly intense, but like also it's still a show,
Yeah, I love that shot. That shot was
the
so
shot was
sick.
crazy, dude, and it was like funny too. Like they made it so it was funny, and how it just pulls up and
like I was thinking to myself when all the people were running out, I was like, what if Barry ran out with them? But then like I just convinced myself like none of those people are Barry, so I just watched inside the store the whole time. I was like waiting for him to walk out. So as soon as he walked off, I was like, damn.
There have been a lot of seemingly impressive shots where I'm just like, holy cow, like that guy's split down the middle and behind him there's a lot of depth and whatever. Or like that one continuous one they did on the television set, that was pretty sick.
Oh, I love that one on the first episode.
It was like one continuous take. It's funny, dude. NoHo Hank is still the best, but I want more NoHo Hank doing like funny stuff, not just protecting the home or whatever.
Yeah, especially now that I know what NoHo Hank means, because when I was first watching it, I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, NoHo Hank. I've heard that like I don't really know. Actually, I don't know what I've heard.
No, but I feel like it's cool that he's like starting, like things are starting to get like more serious on their side of things too. Cause that part, like I was hella invested. But when all of a sudden he's like, no, he's like, my wife's here. Then and then the whole thing happens where he's like trying to show him like the base where they're operating out of. Yeah, like all that shit happened. I was like, damn, this is fucked up.
Yeah, dude, because now you're actually coming up. You're like a month away from your 1 year.
Yeah.
In LA, dude. Like, I remember, I was like pretty certain you were going to move in. And then, it finally happened. And what is it like? What's it been like? I mean, in terms of, even when you started, like, you were pretty, puppy-eyed about everything. Everything was like, but you've lived through quite a bit in terms of you worked on major, wildly popular shows. You've met awesome people. You've had awesome nights. I don't know. Has it been?
It's been an adventure. It definitely has been. It's a whole experience. I wouldn't trade for anything. Like with, there's been highs and there's been lows.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I'm glad I'm here.
Are you shocked that, like, would 16-year-old you be shocked that you moved to LA?
No. So when I moved here, like one of the first things I did was like throw away like notebooks from like high school and stuff.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I feel so stupid. I was being metaphorical. I thought I was like in a Charlie Kaufman movie or some shit, and I was like, these old notebooks from high school. I have like math notebooks, English notebooks, all these things. I have writing in it and proof that I was in high school, and I just threw them out, and I feel so stupid about it. But I did have one notebook left over, and it was like an actual journal that I would write like notes and stuff in.
Yeah.
And I opened it up, and on the first page it said list of goals, and like number 1 on there was like get to LA.
Whoa.
And I was like, whoa, I am in a Charlie Kaufman movie.
Yeah. That's so funny. I mean, you're here, it's been a year. Like, how, like, when you moved here, did you have a timeline in your head, or were you just like, I just gotta go, and like, we'll see what happens?
I was just like, I gotta go. I
And then how do you feel now? Like, are you still just kind of like, yo, this is life now? Like, I've never thought of like, I'll give it another year and I'll see how I'm doing. Otherwise, I'll move back home. Like, none of that.
No, I mean, I told myself I'll give myself 10 years.
10 years.
Because like, I've been having a great time and everything. This place is awesome. I do not want to live in fucking LA, bro.
Oh yeah, just the
fuck no, bro. It's it's a lot.
Did you ever do New York?
I would do New York. But I mean, I'm fine living here. It's just like sometimes I'll be driving and I'll be seeing people were like retired living out here, and I'm like, dude, I could not live here if I was retired. There's too much shit going on.
Yeah, it's
Sweet home Arizona.
yeah,
bro.
it's a mix. It's like not, and I guess I mean I live in a life where I like in a 1 mile radius. You know, there's only a few things that are outside of where I go. So like I don't see it a lot of like the crappy side of LA. But your jobs, you're all over.
Well, it's not even like the crappy side of LA. It's just the ways, it's the traffic. It's the
Right.
It's
That's what I'm saying. It's like I
that's
I
true.
like I don't deal with traffic.
You're right. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't listen to podcasts or audiobooks or even music as much as I normally would if I was driving all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like, we live literally 2 minutes to work.
That's true. That's true.
So it's like I use that for phone call time and then bada bing.
Yeah, right.
So it's a mix. It's a mix.
It's a mix, yeah.
But it's a cool at least area.
I love it. Yeah, I love this. It's fun.
Yeah, 1 year down.
1 year down.
Do you have any did you have a goal in your first year to even work on one movie, work on one?
I didn't really. I kind of had this idea when I was leaving where I was like, you know what? I was like, I've kind of been training for this moment. I was like, I've been learning, I've been jumping between different things over the past 10 years that all deal with writing. And I was like, why don't I just start sprucing up on each one of them and just start not start working with all of them as soon as I get there. And so I would sit there and I was trying to work on music at the same time I was doing stand up, and at the same time working on scripts. In my first month, and then I was like, okay, I need to slow the fuck down. I need to slow the absolute fuck down. And then I had my stand up experience in LA. That was cool.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's kind of funny how even you've gone from you've bounced around from I want to be a director, I want to be a writer. Music. What's it been like with music lately? Is that because you live pretty close to me, so I can hear sometimes if you're.
It's been cool,
working on your music game.
Yeah, it's a whole ass learning process that's super exciting. I've just been messing with stuff pretty much because when I made the decision, I was like, okay, I'm going all in. I'm doing this. Yeah. I was like, I'm actually gonna learn certain things about it. I'm even if I don't have any I haven't had anything that I've wanted to work on for my own personal self. So I was like, okay, why don't I just play a song? So that way I'm practicing guitar and practicing messing with Ableton, and I'm still at a very low level. I'm still at the top of the iceberg, but it's exciting to dive into it.
What's been because I know in your first year, I don't know if it's been more or less. So let's rewind the clock back a year. Have you done karaoke more in the last year than in your whole life? Because is this a new thing? Because I've noticed for you that if you're dudes, we're doing karaoke Friday, I can see a sense of guys, this needs to happen from you, where it's karaoke has become this special thing, and you've heard the Always Sunny guys talk about karaoke, and we've had amazing nights of karaoke. What has your relationship been with karaoke more in this last year than the rest of your life?
I feel I've been that's definitely my jam. Now I didn't really do karaoke growing up or anything like that. I would see my family do it all the time, but I'd always kind of be like, oh, I'm too cool for that, But now that I'm doing it, I'm like, this is my favorite shit in the world.
Yeah.
That shit is so cool.
It's but have you felt you've needed it more? You just wanted to do it more? It's been a great way to meet people,
everything. Yeah, definitely it's a great way to meet people. I like the idea of because I think it was not Rob. Rob didn't say it. It was Glenn who mentioned he's going and doing karaoke to get the angst out.
Yeah.
And I was like, that shit is very real.
Yeah.
That I get off stage and I feel I just release something,
Karaoke is the one of few places where you can just go and be absolutely ridiculous and be celebrated for it, and just
Exactly.
be like, just let everything out, just scream into the microphone, and the mic, like this sound system sucks in the place anyway. So even if you do sound good,
I'm not one of
all
those
messed
people.
up.
I'm like not one of those people when I tell someone like, "Hey, we gotta go to karaoke." They're like, "I'm not singing." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not singing?" They're like, "I'm not good." And then I'm like, "You don't have to be good. You're not supposed to be good."
Do you think it's more important to have a great song that everyone loves, or a song that means a lot to you? Ooh. So one that everyone will love, or one that would mean a lot to you? Like, should the song mean a lot to you, or should you be like, you know what, I'm gonna do Mr. Brightside again for the 5th time?
Oh no, definitely something that means something to you.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like it's a mixture. Because that's how I choose. I'm like, okay, let me do a song that like.
But you gotta find a good mix, right? We did Paramore that one night.
Paramore.
That's what you get. That was just suddenly everyone was letting out the same angst because you could sing right back.
Yeah, exactly. That's a song that means a lot to me, and I've jammed out to.
Yeah.
That's a song that everybody knows.
Yeah, dude.
That
song was fired up, I think, in the Uber on the way over too that night. That was fun. Yeah.
This Love by Maroon 5. I'm dropping bangers right now, so people want to take notes.
Yeah. I talked about it literally last episode. We talked about karaoke, and he was saying the cha-cha slide he wanted to do. Like, he thinks that was his like goal. I'm like, dude, that's pretty funny. He's like, I just want to go to the left. To the left.
Go on stage and fuck up the cha-cha slide.
And dude, he was saying it's like 7 minutes long too. So it's just like, it's never ending. Shout out JJ.
That's funny.
Carol, dude, he posts funny stuff all the time. Dude, I heard a Barstool guy. We were watching a YouTube video as friends, which is another kind of funny part of the Bo Burnham thing, is just like how just much YouTube probably means to our generation, because we were sitting around, we weren't flipping through channels, we were clicking through ridiculous Joe Rogan videos, through crazy UFC highlights, through like a funny Barstool video, and in one of the Barstool videos, Dan Big Cat is like, he said, yeah, you know, it's a grind. It's just every day waking up thinking, how can I entertain people today? And I'm like, dude, that's interesting, because how hard has it been for you as someone who's in freelance and like, but you do your own stuff, to like get the nerve to actually do something and post something and create, you know what I mean? To actually do it, because it's so hard.
Yeah, it definitely gets impossible. Dude, sometimes, especially like back to backs, 12 hours, 12 hour. Like, you know, get home from a 12-hour shift and, you know, you have to work the next morning. You don't want to fucking do anything.
Dude, even 10-hour shift.
And so like sometimes when I'll talk to people and they're like I remember talking to this one guy about it, and I was like, yeah, I can't. Like, at the end of the day, I was like, I can't work on any writing or anything like that. He's like, oh, bro. He's like, I can. He's like, I get home sometimes, I start working on stuff right away. I'm like, fucking kudos to you. Like, you're stronger than me, because I could not fucking do that.
Yeah, I've had, like, a few times where I've tried a DBN thing after, like, a long day of actual work, and it just even takes out so much more of me.
Yeah, I feel like it's more the emotional drag that takes out of you.
And I'm on like 5 days of no work, and I'm like, all right, we can do something.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, all right, I got to do something. But no, because it's like, truly is a challenge, because it's like we come out here and we're like, yo, we want to make something of ourselves, but then it's like, you know, what are we actually doing?
Yeah, and I mean, there are definitely those days where you do get home from work and you're like, you know what? I still feel pretty up enough to do something right now.
Yeah.
And you just like take advantage of that, of like, you know, those hours that you have before you're just completely wiped out.
Yeah. How has LA changed you? So like, even in a way that's like, dude, I love avocado toast now, or like, you know, like, or are you more posh? Are you more like into like have?
I don't know. I would say I love Dave's hot chicken.
It's true. That's changed lives.
Yeah. Personality. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty blessed to say that, like, I feel like I've still been myself through this whole time, and like I feel like now it's mostly come out.
Yeah.
Because like you guys were getting mad at me because I was doing those bits, and I realized when I was like coming up and asking you guys about like karaoke bars and stuff. And I was like, dang, I'm realizing that my personality is really coming out, because I've never done that. I've never done that before. But, like, I've always done that. Yeah. Like, I love dropping just, like, stupid-ass hypotheticals. and just hearing somebody's answer is like the funniest shit in the world to me. Like no matter what it is, because as long as it's like
a reaction,
a drop of thought,
yeah,
and they're like, oh, I mean, I guess because like when I asked Bill that same one where I said, if you were at the karaoke bar and you got off stage and you sat down and this baddie walks over and gives you a lap dance, what would you do? And I asked Bill that, and he says, Trey, I don't know. Do you want to know my answer? I do not know what I would do. And I was like, no matter what the answer is.
True. I want to know what Bill would do. Honestly, that would be funny, dude. I want to know what Bill would do. Yeah.
And I was like,
I'd pay to see that, I think.
Oh, dude.
No, but that's funny. And I told you I had a segment ready for you.
Oh, yeah.
So I have the photos of the last 4 girls you've been on dates with.
Wait, what?
No, we're going to go through, and I want you to tell me about each one. I'm going to put them up on the screen, and you're going to tell me, like, who was fun, who wasn't, and we're just going to burn through.
Dude. Oh,
you ready? All right, here we go.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just playing.
Oh, my God. I was like, you fucking trapped me.
No, but I do fun because that was, like, obviously a big tease there.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask.
Okay.
The girls in LA, have you had success, would you say? And would you say girls are different here? Would you say they're better? Would you say, have you had more success?
I would say that,
but dang, I really wish I had all this. That'd be great.
You got me, bro. I really thought for a second. I was like,
yo,
okay.
You got something to hide.
I was like, well played. I was like, let's do it. No, I feel like it's been good. I mean, I've gone on a few dates. It's definitely been a lot different than my experiences like back home. But I feel like, I don't know. I don't feel like girls are too different here. Than I mean, there are definitely certain parts of LA where people are that I've noticed, like the people that I've been interacting with in certain areas are a little different than others. But that's not even that's girl and guy.
Yeah.
But
what about like because in Arizona, did you ever Arizona versus LA of like? Are girls less committal here? They're like no one's looking for anything serious
1,000%,
here.
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%.
I'm just like it's hard to find someone who's looking for something serious, but it's also like it's a great place if you're not looking.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like so yeah, kind of crazy, but yeah. All right, Trey. Thanks so much for coming on, dude. For real.
Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
What have you been? What's like gotten you excited lately? You got anything in the pipe? Any big goals? Any small goals or anything where you're like, dude, I want to like drop a track for the DBN?
Well, we're not eventually. We're at the very last parts of my short, which has been a long fucking time coming.
It has been.
And like, yeah, it's been a long time coming, and fucking. Just about to add the score. There's gonna be so the DP Ed, he put together like a whole bunch of like he had footage the whole time we were like doing it through pre-production and everything. We're just recording like behind the scenes stuff. So he's like wanting to put together like an episodic sort of thing leading up to the release of it.
Whoa.
And he has a lot of footage, and we're like going through like he made the first 5 minutes of one video, and we're like, damn, dude. 1 year ago.
Dang. Well, that's exciting. So follow Trey, and the DBN usually will repost stuff like that. So that's sick, dude. We'll be on the lookout for that. Do you think Bo Burnham is a top tier comedian living today?
Yeah,
because he also directed the Carmichael special.
Yeah, he did. He's done past 2 of his specials,
and he's done Chris Rock. He's sneaky.
I would say that like Bo Burnham, I don't even call him a comedian. He's just an art. I feel like he's just an artist. I feel like he's a performer.
Yeah.
Before he is a comedian. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like in the traditional sense.
Yeah. There's literally no one like him, and I'm shocked that other people haven't taken to his form. It really is just his own.
Mm-hmm.
I guess super interesting. But well, cool. Thanks again, dude. Appreciate you. Bo Burnham is in one of your favorite movies of all time. Do you know what movie that is?
Funny People.
That's right. Funny People. Maybe we'll review that on here. You don't have a biopic, do you?
Like a favorite biopic?
No, we do a show on the DBN called Biopic where we talk about like specific movies, and maybe Funny People is the one we watch because I've been wanting to rewatch it.
Okay, I'm done.
And it's full. And maybe we can do your biopic for Funny People because I could talk about that movie for a long time.
I like that movie. A really good one.
All right, cool. Trey, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Goodbye, Bear Nation.
And we're gonna FaceTime your exes now.